Good morning all. How are you? I hope you are doing great and ready to have an English lesson with me. So, our topic for today is application letter. Are you ready? Good. For this, we are going to spend 3 weeks or 3 sessions, alright? Be sure you have prayed earlier, but if you haven't, I'd like you to do that right now. By the end of this lesson, let's say after 3 weeks, you should be able to distinguish the social function, the generic structure, and the language features of application letter, and then to get contextual meaning of application letters, and then also to write your own application letter based on a job vacancy. To achieve these goals, you will be given a step-by-step activities in a worksheet attached to your classwork. This worksheet is expected to finish by the end of July 2020. I encourage all of you to do all the activities there. Now, let's get started with our first session. Let me ask you some questions first. Here are the questions. Tell me, do you know what application letter is? Why do we have to send application letter and when? What about the information that we mention in our application letter? What are they? And what about the ideal structure of application letter? Do you know? Okay, this lesson will try to find out all of the questions, and I'm going to give you some tips in the end of this lesson. Well, by looking at these 4 keywords, I think it is clear that application letter is a formally handwritten or typed one-page letter to apply for a job, okay, or for other academic program such as scholarship. Then why do we have to write an application letter? So the function of application letter is to build a positive impression about the applicant. You see, when you send your application letter, you really want to impress the employer, right? So you are hired, you are accepted, okay? Next, the structure. Like all letters, application letters also have date, addresses, salutations, and paragraphs. You would begin with your address first, and then followed by the date, and then salutations, and then paragraphs, and then you would close it with your salutation as well and your signature, of course. We will discuss about salutations and paragraph management later on. This is how it looks like. Now, I'd like you to pay more attention to the paragraphs. As the keynote say, the opening and closing paragraphs are typical. You would open your letter with the purpose and close it with a hope. The way you write it is indeed quite various. What to mention in the paragraphs are dynamic. It means that no particular rules about which information about you should come first and the next. Just make sure all of the paragraphs have main ideas. Here are 2 rules of salutations for opening and closing. First, if you don't know the name of the employer, your opening salutation is like this: Dear Mr. or Madam. And for your closing salutation is yours faithfully. The second one, If you know the name of your employer, then you should write the last name only. As an example, Dear Mr. Chan. And then for your closing salutation, yours sincerely. Is that clear? Okay, now let's discuss in more detail about your personal information that I think very important for you to mention in your application letter. Here are the information. Okay, and I think these are quite complete about you. You would begin with the purpose of you writing the application letter. And then you could continue with telling the employer your education background, and then working experience if you have. And then you can continue with telling the employer your skills or your competencies. Also, you can add about your positive attitudes, also the contact links, and you would close it with a hope, of course. Later on, after this, I will describe exactly what can you mention in each items. Let's discuss one by one in more detail, okay? Let's begin with the purpose or tujuan. Here, you mention the position you are applying for and how you know about the vacancy. Next is education background atau latar belakang pendidikan. Here, of course, you mentioned from what university you graduated, what faculty, what major, and in what year. Next one is working experience atau pengalaman pekerjaan. Here, you mention what position did you hold and in what year did you have to resign, and then in what company. Next one is your skills and competencies. In this section, you really want to tell your employer what you can do that benefit the company. Let's say whether you can operate computer very well, whether you can speak and write in foreign languages very well, let's say in English, okay, and other foreign language maybe. Next one is positive attitudes. It means your good personality. Some of the common positive attitudes mentioned in an application letter are dynamic, able to work individual or in a team, fast learner, or energetic. Next one is contact links. You can mention your phone number here. Mentioning email is quite common. Mentioning other social medias, I think it's not common because phone number is considered one option to contact you almost immediately and, of course, to get your response. Last one is hope. Well, the most common statement is, I'm looking forward to hearing from you soon. Or, I'm looking forward to having an interview. Or, I'm looking forward to talking about future chances with you. Now let's talk about paragraphs management. As you know, your application letter should include at least 4 paragraphs, or I think maximum is 5 paragraphs. What if you want to make 4 paragraphs? Okay, look here. This is one paragraphs management that you can adopt, where you put your purpose and educational background in one paragraph, working experience and your skills or competencies in one paragraph, and then your positive attitude in one short paragraph, and then the last paragraph is about your contact links and hope. Or you can adopt this management, okay, where you only mention your purpose in one single paragraph, and then you mention your education background and your working experience in one paragraph, your skills and your positive attitudes in another paragraph, And then last one is about your contact links and hope. Okay, what about if you want to make 5 paragraphs? Okay, look here. This is one paragraphs management that you can adopt, right? In paragraph, you only mention the purpose. And in the next paragraph, in paragraph 2, you mention only your educational background. And then the next paragraph, paragraph 3, you only mention your working experience. Okay? And in the next paragraph, which is paragraph 4, you combine the information about the skills and your competencies as well as your positive attitudes into paragraph 4. And then the last one, of course, paragraph 5, you mention your contact links and your hope. As I promised earlier, I would give you some tips of do's and don'ts about writing or typing an application letter. Here they are. So, please don't make the letter too long. That is obvious. Avoid flowery language. In fact, you need a persuasive, not flowery. Tailor the letter to the job and company. Don't forget to check your spelling. This is a must. Email for more efficient procedure. You must use good quality of paper if you want to send the letter via snail mail. Typed or computer generated, not handwritten. This is more preferable these days. Finally, you are at the last stage of today's activity. In your worksheet, you will find 2 application letters and you are to distinguish them using this identification table. Find out the social function, opening salutation, what being mentioned in each paragraph, closing salutation, and your personal opinion about each letter. For your personal opinion, you can use these sentences or you have your own statement. It's okay. To end our activities today, I'd like you to spend a moment to check your progress. In your worksheet, you should include these 5 items. For number 5, writing an application letter, you will get to reach that activity in the next 2 weeks. So please don't worry about item number 5. So, this is the end of our first session. Remember, we still have another 2 sessions for reading and writing. Bye for now. See you around next week. Please stay safe.